The women at my job made a list of the most attractive guys and I wasn't even in the top 10 when there are only 8 guys here. Is it over? So here's the deal. I, 21M, work part-time at a store while attending classes. There are a total of 21 of us who work at this store, 13 girls, 8 guys, and we're all around the same age. We have a pretty good working atmosphere, with no open hostility as far as I know, and everyone gets along well, joking around with each other. Though I will say, the guys and girls do tend to stick together more. As for me, I'm fairly well liked by everyone. I try to be pleasant to all my coworkers because who needs a D-bag coworker? Unfortunately, here's where things go bad. One of the guys who works with us, Chris, 23M, is dating one of the girls in the store, Ashley, 21F. Chris was apparently browsing on her phone when he came across the girls' group chat. He said it was mostly girl talk, but he found a list ranking all of the guys in the store by their hotness. He had a laugh about it and screenshotted it to send to our group chat. Everyone saw it and had a laugh at the rankings. The guy at the top, Chad, 22M, kept sending crown emojis. Then, everyone noticed I wasn't there. I didn't look at the chat until later since I was with my parents at the time and had it on mute. When I saw I wasn't on the list, it felt like I was slapped across the face. The list was out of 10, and they included the 3 delivery guys who drop off stuff and some of the girls flirt with. This crushed me in a way I don't think I've ever been crushed before. It's like, damn, am I that much of a hideous monster that I'm not worthy of being ranked? I spent the rest of my day being miserable and not talking to anyone. When I wasn't responding to the chat, the guys all tried to hit me up individually, but I didn't respond. I looked into the chat, and the guys were starting to be pissed on my behalf, which I definitely didn't want. I decided to call in sick the next day, and when I didn't show up, apparently, it all came out into the open. The girls at the store started messaging me, apologizing to me and making all kinds of excuses. Quite frankly, I didn't care. I decided to face the music the next day and suck it up at work. When I walked in, the atmosphere was a lot more tense than usual. Becky, 23F, who is the assistant manager and was on the group chat, pulled me aside and asked if we could talk. I said okay. She apologized on behalf of everyone in the chat and said that the list was not serious. It was girl talk and not meant to be seen outside the chat. She said that everyone, especially the women at the store, like me for far more valuable things than simply how I look, and that if it were a list of the nicest guys in the store, I'd be number 1. I couldn't help but feel like this was damage control and being friend-zoned all in one motion. I said, thank you, but I'm past it, and I don't want anyone's pity, and I went about my day. Of course, I did end up getting that pity, with a lot of the guys coming over to talk to me, and some of the girls as well. I got so fed up I went to the manager and asked to go home early. She agreed because she kind of knew what was going on. This was all about 5 days ago, and since then, everyone at the store has been trying to get me to talk, but I haven't gone back. I don't want pity, and I don't want sympathy. If they think I'm ugly, then fine, but don't try to justify it or make me feel better about it. The reason I'm here is that I need advice on how to navigate the situation at my job and with my friends. How do I tell everyone to basically leave me alone and not pity me? Because honestly, I'm leaning towards just quitting. Update 1. Hey everyone, I'm back, and boy, do I have an update for you. I can't believe this situation exploded so much. There was a fight, arrests, and I think someone might be getting divorced. Okay, not really, but people wanted to know how I was doing, so I decided I'd just make an update. I just wanted to clear up a few things. First, I didn't necessarily care if they found me ugly or whatever, I just felt like being left off the list was a deliberate slap in the face. I didn't, and don't, feel entitled to anything. Next, the manager of the store, Barb, was not involved in the group chat in any way. She's a 38-year-old married woman with 2 kids who is far too busy trying to get us to stop lighting up behind the store on our breaks. What I meant to say is that she was made aware of the situation after it was brought to her attention. Third, I wasn't aware of the list right away, I was with my parents and wasn't paying attention to the chat. Now, after reading the comments on the first thread, I decided that while I could be upset that I was deemed unattractive, I probably shouldn't care as much as I did. I kinda wanted to discover why not being on the list hurt me so much, so I took my sister's advice and will be seeking a therapist. Funny enough, my grandpa has a saying that came to mind when reading the comments in the first thread. Whenever my dad or his brothers and sisters would be upset about something, my grandpa would tell them, I didn't get wounded in the Yadrong Valley so you could sit there and cry about so-and-so. The so-and-so could be anything, the point is he was telling them to toughen up. It became a joke among my aunts and uncles that passed down to my cousins. So I could hear my grandpa telling me in my head, I didn't get wounded in the Yadrong Valley so you could sit there and cry about some girls thinking you're ugly, and that got me up a bit. I was still feeling kinda crappy, but I decided to put on a brave face and tell my manager I'd come into work the next day after posting the thread. As soon as I walked in, the manager took me to her office and said the owner of the store wanted to see me. I wasn't really worried since I had a good relationship with Carl, who was the owner. Carl told me he heard about the story and he was sorry about everything. He said the list was childish and unprofessional, and he was sorry I had to take time off to deal with it. He said the girls all got a strong reprimand and a stern warning that this wouldn't be tolerated in the future. He also suspended Becky because he said she should not have been in the chat to begin with, and if she was, she should have stopped the list stuff. He also emphasized that he told everyone that he hadn't talked to me yet, and that he wasn't punishing anyone because I asked for it. He also said he'd pay me for the shifts I missed as a bit of compensation for the mental distress. I thanked him and told him I was over it pretty much right away. I just hated having everyone think I needed coddling and wanted everything to cool down. With that, we shook hands, and I started my day. Everyone welcomed me back, and I said hey to everyone. I went to my locker and found a letter slipped inside. It was a handwritten letter from all the girls. I'll summarize here because the list was long. In it, they apologized profusely for the chat in the list. They said that nothing was going to make it right or make me believe them, but they wanted to say once again, the list was non-serious and meant to be some stupid fun, and no one was meant to see it. They said that they all loved me individually, that I was a good person, and that makes me more attractive than most people who are considered hot. Interestingly, they said I was considered cute. Okay then lol. I flagged down one of the girls on shift who I get along with really well, Sam, 20F, to tell the group that I accept their apology. I told her to tell them that I got over it pretty much right away, that I just took time off because I wanted the situation to cool down and that I didn't take anything personally. Also, I told her that I'm sorry that anyone got in trouble. I didn't talk to Barb or Carl about anything until today. I didn't want this to become an issue at all. Unfortunately, the guys made it an issue on my behalf. Sam apologized again and told me she'd tell everyone. And that's that. Sorry if this was not the explosive post you all were looking for. I just wanted to get this situation resolved as soon as possible and put it behind me so that I, and everyone else, can move on. I am thinking about not returning next semester, however. So thanks all, I appreciate your comments and helping me get through this little episode in my life.